Blind. It shouldn't be called Love is Blind. I don't believe in the experiment. It should be called Love is Blurry.
When you signed the contract, what did it say on the top? So why would you expect to come on Love is Blurry when it's called Love is Blind? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing okay and everybody is doing well. As you know, the reunion for Love is Blind has officially gone live as of today, which is Friday the 4th of March. And in all honesty, there's even no need for a long introduction because I actually don't know what I spent 1 hour watching. What did I spend 1 hour watching? But yeah, there's a lot for us to unpick and also unpack from that reunion, so no need for a long intro. So as I usually end up always say, number one, if you haven't yet subscribed, of course be sure to subscribe. And number two, please to get cozy and comfortable with your hot ribena, even your tea, because that's exactly what we're going to be sipping today. So yeah, please get cozy and comfortable with your hot ribena, your tea, your coffee, I don't know, something that keeps you nice and warm. And I really hope you enjoy the rest of this review. Alrighty, so kicking off with my overall thoughts of the reunion before we do get into the topics and the nitty-gritty. I do feel like they definitely did ask the right questions. I feel like they covered topics that many of the public wanted answers for. In terms of that actual reunion and the order, I do feel like it did come across as being quite sporadic. It really didn't focus on one couple at a time. It was more one couple and then circling back to someone else and then back to that couple and then bringing in another person. It was low-key given confusion. So if my notes come across as confusion as well, it's because what we watched was quite confusing. So yeah. So firstly, we're going to speak about the Natalie, Shayne and Shayna situation. And if you did watch my first Love Island, not Love Island, my first Love is Blind review, when I reviewed all the episodes, you would have known that I also did say that I wouldn't be surprised if this was low-key going to be like a main topic of the reunion as well, because I guess it is quote-unquote drama. Firstly, going to start off with Shayna, because number one, why was she squinting like that throughout the whole reunion? I don't really know. She was just literally like this. And I was just thinking, is that naturally her face or is that just, I don't know. I thought the squinting was actually quite weird. But yeah, they were of course speaking to Shayna about the situation, you know, with Shayne, you know, does she feel awkward and things like that. And she basically said, yeah, that she does actually feel awkward, but she was just soaking in the experiment and what's meant to be will be. And as much as I do understand where she's coming from, I already said this as well, and we're going to get into Cal moving on, because like I said, the reunion was just a bit chip and chop. I do feel like what she done was wrong. At the end of the day, Cal had already proposed to you, you had already said yes, and you're going back into the pod to come and confess your feelings. So by you confessing your feelings, what exactly were you hoping to gain from that conversation when you knew that he was still very actively looking to propose to Natalie? Were you expecting him to change his mind? Were you going to tell Cal that you were no longer interested? So as much as she did say that she is soaking in the experiment, I don't know the reasons for her actions. It just, it doesn't make sense. Vanessa also said something that was actually quite interesting, and it's something that we all noticed as well, was as much as, yeah, Love is Blind and we're all here doing experiments, Shayne 100% had a much deeper emotional connection with Natalie. Your connection that you had with Shayne was solely based on physical touch and lust, and every single time you guys speak, he's not even asking you, how's your day, did you eat breakfast? He's saying, oh, what have you got on? And she's like, oh, crop top. Like, if that's the foundation that you want to build in your relationship, you can do that, don't get me wrong, but you cannot deny the fact that Shayne did have a stronger relationship with Natalie that wasn't based on how she looked or what she was wearing, but genuinely because of emotion. Moving on briefly to the most annoying person ever. I mean, I don't understand if this was Love is Blind reunion or the Abhishek show, because he was honestly just chiming in and chopping in and talking for situation. Were you in the pod with them? Abhishek, were you in the pod with them? Shayne was speaking about his experience in the pod, and of course, like, we can only see outside in, but it is quite emotional when you're in there. Abhishek now pops in, shouting, talking. Oh, but can I just say, you can't say anything because this is not your situation, babe. It's not your situation. But we're going to get into that later on, because like I said, not only was the reunion chip and chop, this was literally the Abhishek show. That's what we watched for 1 hour. So moving on briefly to Cal and Shayna, I've already said this before and I still stand by it. They're both not serious. They're actually both not serious. Shayna's not serious because she knew that she wasn't willing to compromise on her faith, yet she still said yes when he did propose to her. And Cal is not serious as well because you knew that she wasn't willing to compromise on her faith anyway. And I don't care if you felt like there was a very strong emotional connection. There are some things that some people just are never going to be willing to compromise with when it comes to being in a relationship. And you knew that Shayna was not going to force her religious beliefs on you, yet you still went on one knee and went to propose. I'm done speech. Oh yeah, you're holding my mother's ring, you're holding my this. And I said this before and I didn't mean to come across as being rude if anyone did take it rudely. But whether it's your mother's ring, your grandma's, your sister's, your great aunt, it doesn't matter. I don't feel comfortable saying yes to someone who doesn't believe in God, so I'm just going to say no. But Shayna didn't do that. But Kyle did make some very valid points as well, which I do 100% agree with, when he said, I also don't understand your reason for going back to speak to Shayne. He's already made his decision. You've already accepted my proposal. What were you expecting to happen for the outcome to be? So yeah, I'm just going to end it there because that whole situation was a mess. Like I said, someone is cooking oil, someone is cooking water. It was never going to work. Moving on to my favorite couple, my favorite couple, my favorite couple. You already know who my favorite couple is. You must know who my favorite couple is. I think they're everyone's favorite, but anyway, Iyanna and Jarrette. And before we get into that, firstly, can we talk about Sis's braids, because they were aligned. They were actually aligned. They were perfect. Every single square was the same size as the other square. I mean, she looked absolutely lovely. I've already said this before. I think Iyanna is stunning, not just outside, but also inwards as well. And I think that radiates on the outside. She just looks really youthful and really young. I think she's 27, 28, but she could definitely pass for a 20-year-old. I think she could definitely pass for like a 20, 21, you know? So they actually did confess that they have not watched any of the episodes back and that they don't want to watch any of the episodes back. And I did low-key respect that, because you guys already know, I did mention this in one of my reviews as well. I know that we're married and everything, but the way Jarrette was crying when Mallory said no to him, no. So I did actually appreciate that they were honest, that they weren't interested in looking at the episodes prior to them getting married and the things that took place in the pod. So I guess that was understandable. But Jarrette did also say that, you know, he has taken full accountability for what has happened and XYZ, and he's apologized to Iyanna multiple times and things like that. So I thought that was quite nice that they were honest. And in all honesty, do you think I want to see my husband crying over one girl in the no. Sorry, no. Love is Blind then chose violence, okay? They chose violence. And they actually played the clip of Mallory and Jarrette when they were at the retreat. And if you remember correctly, okay, this was the first time that they had actually seen each other outside of the pods. And, you know, they were speaking, you know, Jarrette was flirting a bit like, oh, you don't want that ring. Like, that's not the type of ring that you wanted. She's calling him Jerbear. He's calling her Mau Mau. Are you okay? Are you actually okay? That's literally like my boyfriend right now going to see his ex and they're doing up nicknames. Should I conk someone's head? Yeah, it's a no from me. It's a no from me. But one thing that Iyanna did say as well is that that in all honesty, Mallory didn't really owe her any loyalty, but Jarrette in that situation did owe her loyalty. And, you know, that was actually quite disheartening to see. But one thing that I did really like was Jarrette was very quick to actually reassure her, even whilst they were at the reunion. I'm sure he's apologized countless times even prior, but he literally told, even not just her, but also, like, you know, everyone that was there, that I would never want to put her in a position where she feels embarrassed, and I promise I'll never do that again. And even said sorry again to her on set, and even Iyanna looked very, like, thankful for it. So I thought that was actually quite cute, because it shows that, number one, he's willing to take accountability, but also number two, that although he knows that this is something that very much plays on Iyanna's head and maybe a situation that she probably won't ever forget, he does try to remind her that, you know, like, I am really sorry and I don't want you to feel like you are second place, even though you did choose me second. But I don't want you to feel like you're second place, and I want to let you know that I'll never do that again. So that's nice. So Sal now ends up coming in, and first things first, I think Sal should 100% keep the beard. He looks much better. But yeah, Sal literally jumped in and he just, you know, that was disrespectful. Like, I just wasn't. And then Mallory tried to butt in and he just, wait, let me finish talking. I said, is that Sal with the energy? Love to see it. Sal just wasn't with it. Sal came with energy this reunion. He was just like, yo, I'm not here for the rubbish at all. So next I want to speak about, wait, should I? Sorry, I'm thinking in my head, but I'm wasting time. Only because the reunion was very chip and chop. Like, I wish I could do the review based on the scenes, but it was one scene of a couple and then another and then back to them. It was just getting really confusing. But I will touch back on Mal and Sal. So one thing that Sal actually did say was that he felt like he was unheard in arguments, and she also said that she felt they were actually quite different. But like I said, I do feel like Sal did take a very mature approach to the whole situation. And he basically was just like, you know what, it's in the past now, so there's really no point of us kind of like opening up wounds and speaking about the situation. Once again, who ended up jumping in? Mr. Abhishek himself. Like I said, so annoying. It was definitely given main character syndrome. This is not your couple. Wait till we get to the Deepti and Abhishek show. You wait. You don't butt in when it's time for other people to speak about how they feel and also their emotions on the show. But he literally just kept butting in and was just giving his commentary. It was just very annoying. very annoying. But yeah, I'll speak about that's all Mal and Sal over. So briefly moving on to Danielle and Nick. You guys do already know how I feel about them. I don't feel like my feelings have changed. I just find them very underwhelming, and yeah, there's my viewpoints of them. But they basically showed us like little glimpses of their life as a married couple. So I believe Danielle actually did end up moving in with Nick, and Nick actually gave her, I believe, his great grandmother's ring or something like that. So she said it felt like she was getting proposed to all over again, which I guess is nice for them. So yeah, it's nice to see that they're doing good. Yeah, that's all. So finally moving on to Deepti and Abhishek, because it's like like I said guys, we don't call him Sheikh on this channel. His name is Abhishek, okay? Your name is Abhishek, so we're going to address you as Abhishek. But yeah, he really just made this reunion all about him, and I don't understand how he was even able to do that, having not been in the other couples. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. But someone actually did mention it, that they actually do feel like he suffers from internalized racism, which is quite interesting. I think I agree. Because the fact he kept mentioning, you know, I've never dated someone like from my culture, I've never seen a brown girl, I've never done this, like, you're not my type, you're this, you're that. Like, okay, we get it, ping pong pong, ugh, next. Like, everyone's got preferences and types, but you keep constantly letting people know that this is the first girl you dated from your culture. Like, relax. One thing that I did write down that I feel like the reunion most certainly highlighted as bright as a sunny and a shiny day is that Abhishek is extremely ignorant. Don't get me wrong, I do understand that people have different preferences, and you know, people like people that are, you know, 6 this and you have to be this and you have to be that and you have to be this, and that's okay. I understand it's okay for you to have preferences, but you don't put people down because they don't match your preference. That is very ignorant, and at your age, for you to still be dealing with that, you need to work on that. You honestly do need to work on it. They did show many clips when in the pods with other females as well, speaking about, oh, like, could I carry you? And oh, I can carry you, then, you know, how heavy would it be? Like, how hard would it be? It's like, okay, you don't want to be with someone who may be a bit bigger or a bit curvy or a bit chubbier, but you don't make them feel like they're less than just because they're not your preference. Like, who does that? And one thing that I also tweeted is, but Abhishek, are you peng? And if you're not British, peng basically means, are you good looking? Are you good looking? Because your mouth is running like this. But from the face it's coming from, is very interesting. Oh, is that bad? Sorry. Another reason why Abhishek is a weirdo is because he was like, oh, it shouldn't be called Love is Blind. It shouldn't be called Love is Blind. I don't believe in the experiment. It should be called Love is Blurry. When you signed the contract, what did it say on the top? So why would you expect to come on Love is Blurry when it's called Love is Blind? Okay. What type of comment is love is blurry? Is that what you signed up for? Is Love is Blurry what you signed up for? Did you not sign up for Love is Blind? You failed to understand the experiment, yet you were on the show. Very interesting, Abhishek. very interesting. Iyanna did recommend that Abhishek needs to go and see a therapist to deal with his narcissistic traits, and 100% I do agree. That was, when she said it, I was just like, yes sis, get with it. Because I actually do feel like he is dealing with a lot of things internally, whether that's been trauma, childhood trauma, relationship trauma, I don't know, but he needs to heal inside, because even throughout the whole reunion, he didn't even seem remorseful at all. It was more, everyone needs to hear my point, everyone needs to hear my point. He even made a very interesting comment saying that, you know, Deepti's the goddess and I'm the villain. Did anyone say that? Did anyone say that? Or are you listening to thoughts or internalized traumas in your head that is forcing you to see the situation different to how it is? It just came across like Abhishek was completely tone deaf throughout the whole reunion. He was just tone deaf. He was literally just there on vibes, and he just wanted everyone to hear his viewpoint, and that's what a reunion is about. Sorry, I think I had a little tongue twister there, but I was supposed to say that is not what a reunion is about. Let us speak about Queen Deepti, because she dodged the fattest, okay? Deepti dodged the fattest bullet. I cannot even imagine what she would be going through and dealing with if she actually said yes at the altar with this guy. And the reason why Abhishek is also somehow is because you're so quick to say, oh, you know, like, she reminds me of my aunt, you know, I'm not attracted to her, I'm not this. But when you guys first met, your hands were all over, babe. So who is lying? Who is lying? Okay. For any single female who's going through anything that is so similar, or you see yourself in Deepti's shoes, it may not necessarily be for marriage, but you know, you see a guy just kind of like playing you around and things like that, please go where you are appreciated and not tolerated. Because to be with someone like Abhishek is to be with a headache for the rest of your life. He needs to heal. He really needs to heal. We're going to quickly add Kyle to that mix, because when he said that comment about, oh, if I known I would have proposed to Deepti, I was thinking, whoa. what were the Love is Blind producers doing? Because who even knew there was a connection there? Who knew there was a connection there? But he literally said that if he had known, he would have proposed to Deepti because she's something that he should have explored even more and basically shouldn't have wasted his time with Shaina. But he was basically saying that, yeah, he should have definitely explored Deepti more. He feels like he should have married her because look at how Abhishek treated her. Like, she's a queen, she's lovely, she's this, she's that. And Abhishek as well, once again, acting like the way that he is, was just like, oh yeah, sure, like, go ahead, you have my blessing, I will facilitate, I will do. But I thought that's actually quite interesting as well, because not only does it go to show that, yes, the Love is Blind producers do pick and choose the scenes and the characters and kind of like the storyline and agenda that they do want to show us. Also does go to show as well that Deepti is such a good person that even people on the outside and her fellow Love is Blind cast can see that she didn't deserve to be treated the way Abhishek treated her. So yeah, that comment there was a bit, you never know, they may explore something in the near future. Let's see. Circling back again to Shayne and Natalie. Sorry guys, like I said, the reunion was literally chip and chop, so my notes are low-key chip and chop. But they circled back to Natalie and Shayne, and once again he took full responsibility for what had happened. Natalie actually did say something very interesting, that what we actually saw was the watered down version of the conversation that they did have. So it did make me wonder, what exactly was Shayne saying to her? And it must have been that bad that even the following day she decided, actually, I don't think that I can marry you. And I did say this in my last review again, like, I do understand that when you are upset and you know you're heated in any heated moment, it's very easy for you to say things that you don't mean, but we're adults at the end of the day, so you do need to learn to control that, because like I said, people may not always remember the things that you do, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. And clearly Natalie didn't feel loved in that situation whatsoever, which caused her to say no at the altar. Wow, I really sound like a therapist, but yeah. Natalie also dodged a fat bullet, her and Deepti, and I'm very glad that she did. I did pick up on this, and quite a few people also did as well. Shayne was acting quite erratic, if I would say. He wasn't really responding well. Sometimes you're looking at him, like literally Nick and Vanessa are looking at him, asking him questions, and he's just staring at them or looking into thin air or looking into space. So I do hope he is okay. Some people have insinuated that maybe he did take something prior to the show. I don't know. I really just don't know. But I do feel like he was acting very strange, and I don't know why Natalie would want to be with someone like that. Like, she actually deserves someone 10 times better. Yeah. And last but not least, it ended on our faves, Iyanna and Jarrette, and they're literally just updating us on their relationship, especially because we did see also in the show that Jarrette is quite extroverted and Iyanna is quite introverted, so there was a huge imbalance there. But she was literally just updating everyone on the things that they do, and you know, they're working on it and they're quite understanding of each other as well. And yeah, I think it's really nice to see them both in love, both happy, both giddy and things like that. They also updated us that their promise that they made low-key was broken prior to the big day, but yeah, that was what they updated everyone on as well. I do understand that some people may have wanted to know that, but I don't understand why Nick and Vanessa asked that question, if I'm going to be really honest with you. Like, if they've done it before, that's something for them to deal with. They're married, and if they didn't do it, like, basically what I'm trying to say is, I feel like that was quite an invasive question, if I'm going to be honest, and it wasn't really anyone's business but theirs. But yeah. Yeah. So yeah guys, that is the end of the review. They did also let us know that there is a new show which is going to air on April the 6th called The Ultimatum. Personally, it's from the same producers of Love is Blind. This sounds really bad, I don't necessarily see the point of the show, and I don't think I get it. I am still going to tune in, but I'm going to tune into one episode and see how I find it. But essentially, couples go into almost like a villa, and there's an ultimatum. So maybe one person wants to get married and the other person doesn't want to get married, so they place them in an experiment with other couples who are low-key like them, and in the 3 weeks that they are there, they basically couple up with someone else and live with someone else and everything. And then at the end of the 3 weeks, they decide if they want to go back to their partner or if they feel like there is life outside of their relationship with someone new. So don't get me wrong, I guess I quote unquote understand the message, but is a show like this really necessary? I don't really know, but I'll tune into episode 1 and see how I find it, and see if it's something that I'll continue watching. So yeah guys, that is the end of this very, very, very long review of the Love is Blind season 2 reunion. As always, if you agree with my comments, it's okay, and if you disagree with my comments, it is okay. We are different people, and there are some things that we're just not always going to see eye to eye on, but that's the whole point of having an opinion. So please feel free to comment your opinion down below as to how you found the reunion. Did you find some of the characters a bit strange? Did you find Abhishek annoying like I did? I'm sure that you did. But yeah, it'd be nice to know what you guys thought of the reunion as well. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you haven't yet subscribed, of course be sure to subscribe, and also follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter at SarahDestinyX. Other than that, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please do take care, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.